Everton 1, Newcastle 0. I'm absolutely buzzing. Just got in from the game. I'm sure a lot of you have seen my match reaction with Dan. I know that wasn't ideal because you straight at the ground and didn't have Wi-Fi and it was cutting in and out. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway and enjoyed living in the moment with us and celebrating Everton's win. Genuinely couldn't write it. Everton with 10 men. Really playing against 12 men with the referee today, who was absolutely disgraceful. It was you couldn't write it. He was the most biased ref I've ever seen all season, and he anything for Newcastle he'd give, and anything for Everton he was adamant he wasn't giving anything to us. But he couldn't stop us. He couldn't stop us getting the 3 points. Calvert-Lewin and Iwobi linking up, and Iwobi, wow. Didn't he take his moment well, and you really just wouldn't have been able to write it. That 10-man Everton would beat Newcastle, Iwobi scoring, and 14 minutes of stoppage time. So I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm so happy. I'm also quite tired, so I'm going to whiz through these player ratings. Begovic. I'm going to start with Asmi Begovic. I don't want to be too critical tonight, but he kept giving the ball straight back to Newcastle with these long balls. And not really thinking about the fact that they've got really tall defenders like Dan Burn, who were going to pretty much mop everything up, and that our midfield wasn't quite on their game for large parts of it. So there were times when I think he should have played it to Coleman and into Decore, who could turn, but he was adamant he always wanted to just boot it downfield. Didn't have an awful lot to do, but what he did do, he did really well. So if you take his distribution out of it, made some good saves, I think. Kept us in the game time and time again. Did drop it a couple of times down at the Gladys Street, which was hard for me to see. But I'm going to give him a 7 because ultimately you're judged on what you do as a goalkeeper in terms of clean sheets and saving and shots, and not really the distribution. I do think we missed Pickford in terms of that, but I think it was probably a blessing in disguise given how hostile Newcastle were. So 7.5 for Asmir Begovic. Moving into defence, Ben Godfrey at left back didn't really offer anything going forward, I don't think, and he was quite reserved, but he was really solid and nothing really got past him. So clean sheet for him, and you've got to give him a 7.5. Michael Keane, again, another, he was rock solid. The problem was that they were cheating Newcastle. They were pushing, I think it was Joe Linton. I don't even know the names, to be honest. The lad they signed from Burnley, whoever was up front for them, number 20, he just push every single time. Cheating. And Keane, it took him probably 40, 50 minutes to get used to that. He was really going to have to fight and battle against him. And in the first half, I did think we got bullied in terms of early at both ends. But he ended up dealing with it quite well by the end of the game. And, in that second half and 50 minutes plus, however long it went on for, coped well and did his job. So 7.5 for Michael Keane. Excuse me. Mason Holgate, again, swept things up, mopped it well, did everything he needed to do. You can't give him any less than a 7.5. I think the distribution between them can improve. They're a little bit slow to get the ball forward into the right areas. And we sometimes just give possession away quite cheaply. But the two of them, they did what they needed to do. They got the clean sheet and they were solid. So fair enough today. And Coleman, I thought, didn't have his best game, but look, we won the game. He fought for the shirt. He was committed. And he was part of a back four, that ultimately kept the clean sheet under, difficult circumstances. So not vintage, not absolutely convincing, but 7.5 for the back line, I think is what you give them. Into midfield, I thought Alan, up until the sending off, was arguably our best player. He showed some tenacity and aggression, and his passing was good. Doesn't always take the ball off the defence and make it easier, but I think he swept and mopped up play really well. And I think the red card wasn't a red card. I think it was a shocking decision, to be honest. And the referee should have shown some backbone. So it's difficult because you'd mark him down for the red card. He probably didn't need to make the challenge. So it's a difficult one. I really want to give him a high score, but at the same time, he's been sent off and it's a subjective matter. So I think that has to bring him down a notch, probably to a 6.5, 7. Decore, I thought he was really poor in the first half. He was always passing backwards. He was so negative. His distribution wasn't great, but he was full of running and he was happy to battle. And in the second half, he improved. And I think Everton took control in that second half. As the longer the game went on, they until the sending off, I think they were the team most likely to score. And Decore improved in the game. So I'm going to give him a 7 for his work rate and effort in there. Anthony Gordon, I don't think he was really in the game at all in the first half. I think he was a bit anonymous. He was getting marked out of it, and Newcastle were very aggressive, made it very difficult for them. But obviously, the commitment, the work rate was there. There wasn't a lot of end product, and I think the same goes for Richarlison, really. That they were working hard, but they were kind of stifled by Newcastle. So I'll give Anthony Gordon, I'm going to give him it's going to be 7 all round, because no one was really that outstanding to deserve an 8 or above, really. But yeah, we'll give Anthony Gordon an 8. Let's be generous, because he epitomises Everton. And some of his shithousery, like pretending to get subbed off when he knew his number wasn't up, was just unbelievable way of time wasting and breaking the game up to stop Newcastle building momentum and allowing Everton to get a bit of energy back. So I think he did that well and played the game well. So Anthony Gordon, 8. On the other flank, Alex Iwobi, I'm going to leave him till last, actually. Richarlison, who else was playing in that midfield? I can't even remember. I mean, Damari Gray, that's how bad. He didn't have a good game, really, Damari Gray. He not really getting in good positions offensively, not stretching play, not making the right runs. To be honest, they were all a bit guilty of that, not making the right runs, not stretching the play. It doesn't help that you haven't got fullbacks bombing on and taking players away to create a bit of space for your wingers. Fundamentally, obviously, there is problems with the way Everton play. It's not great, but we're in a celebratory mood tonight. So Damari Gray, I think I'm going to give him a 6. Didn't have much of an impact, and there's a lot more to come from him, and he's got so much more in his locker. I don't think we're playing to his strengths. I think he's a winger. He's an out-and-out winger, out wide, beat a man, cross it in. I think when he's dropping in and trying to do too much, we're not going to get the best out of him. Up front, Richarlison, he gets a 10 just for this celebration when we score, running onto the pitch and ghosting round. It was unbelievable, that happened. He just loves the club. But in terms of actually his performance, he battled well, but he was really well marshalled. It was difficult for him tonight. He was getting fouled. He was getting kicked. He tried his best. But there wasn't an awful lot in there. He did try and set Calvert-Lewin up at the end, but I think he's got a lot to, not a lot, but he's got room for improvement in terms of getting back up to his best. So I'm going to give him a 6. Let's go to our man of the match. Alex Iwobi worked absolutely tirelessly. There wasn't an awful lot of end product with him, and I think this is just a problem to do with the system and the lack of confidence across the board, and probably lacking, a natural playmaker just to make things tick. But Iwobi, oh my God, the goal was the interchange with Calvert-Lewin, and then the composure when he went through. It was quite close to the keeper. It wasn't right in the corner. The keeper probably should save it. Possibly, I don't know, but unbelievable. He's a player that's been really heavily criticised, outcast, scapegoat in a way, and he gets the winner at Goodison Park, which is absolutely unbelievable. When we're in injury time with 10 men, you could not write it. So Alex Iwobi, you're going to get a 9 out of 10 for that. And what it means to Everton is absolutely unbelievable. Substitutions then. Gomez, 8 when he came on. He just was in the right place at the right time, worked well, kept the ball when he did what he needed to do. I'm going to give him an 8 for his performance, for what he did in that short spell. Calvert-Lewin, again, deserves an 8, 8.5, really. I mean, he came on, he put himself about, made runs, he fought with the defender, the link-up play for the goal, track back. I'm inflating it slightly because of the win, but his impact in securing the 3 points there right at the end was unbelievable. So an 8 for Calvert-Lewin. And then Andros Townsend, I think you can't really rate him, to be fair. He just come on to eat a little bit of time up and battle. But, across the board, really, I mean, I probably should boost everyone by a point, because there was a shithousery element to it that I liked today in terms of breaking up play when we needed to, and time wasting and little things, game management that we haven't done before when we're under the cosh. We had 14 minutes, and it was actually 17 or 18 minutes at the end of the game to actually hold on for a 0-0 was what we thought we were going to get. But it was unbelievable. We didn't display much of a footballing brain up until we went down to 10 men. And then it was almost like they showed the fight, they showed the passion, they showed the commitment. They did what they needed to do to break up the play, to win the fouls. When the ref would give us anything, I mean, he was a joke. Never screamed so much. I'm surprised I've even got a voice. The amount of times of screaming at him. The guy in front even said to me, "Ryan, calm down." But they did it. They did what they needed to do. Look at my face. I'm bright red. I'm not normally like this on a stream. Yeah, so that's my player ratings. Let me know whether you agree with me very quickly in the comments. Steve Delaney saying, "Get in there, Blue Boys. Goodison at his very best. Make sure you watch our match reaction from before." It's not the most professional because it's coming out of Goodison. There's no signal. I'm in and out. But if you want to get some raw, authentic footage, watch that. The fans get a number 10. That's from Hugh. I agree. We were absolutely unbelievable. There was a small spell, probably 30 minutes of the game, where it was quite flat, but I think that was dictated to by the performance petering a little bit. But for most part, we were really, really good today. The fans were absolutely unbelievable. And I thought Newcastle backed their team unbelievably well, but again, they let themselves down with the stupid dinosaurs and throwing things onto the pitch, which is a shame. But I'm buzzing. We won, absolutely. The fans cheering, "You're not fit to referee." This was spot on, mate. I called it in the first half when he was letting everything go and giving us nothing. So Paul De Silva, hi Paul, he's saying we need to be nasty every game and scrap for everything. Spot on. And we've set the benchmark now. I think with that sort of last 20 minutes, we can do it. They can fight. That's the bare minimum. Fight for it. And not every team is going to be able to fight and battle in that like you did in the last 15, 20, 30 minutes today. Now we're taking some really positive momentum to Palace, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get the result really against Palace on Sunday, which would be amazing. The players will be absolutely exhausted, but then we've got a 2-week break. But it's good. It's good to finally get some points on the board. More positive, not feeling depressed at this moment in time. So you're going to enjoy it. I hope you like the video. Like the video. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, enjoy your evening and have fun. And I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks.